In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the basic concepts for creating graphics-based programs. In particular, I'll introduce you to the JFrame and JPanel classes to create a real simple drawing. So let me run the program first, you can see what happens. I'll run the driver here, and you basically get a window here with an X pin across the middle of it, and some output so you can see what's happening. So right now the width and height of the window, this one right here, is 250 by 228. This is printed twice, one for each line. And as I move and change the dimensions of the box, the program knows the new width and height. So the width is getting bigger, the height's getting bigger, and I can bring it back. And every time it does, it's actually redrawing the line so it fits the new window. So real simple drawing, but some new things here. So let me go to the driver. So the way the driver works is actually a four-step process. So if you think about a painter and what a painter does, step one is to create a frame that we're going to paint on, or actually we're going to place a canvas onto. So it's just a wooden frame that we create. So I'm going to create a J-frame, and this just tells me I've created it. Then step two is I'm going to create a canvas that I'm going to draw on. So I call this a magic canvas. You'll see where that comes from in a second, but it's basically the drawing area that I'm going to draw on. So I create that. Then I put the canvas onto the frame. So it's like I staple the canvas onto the frame. And then step four, and actually all the work is done with the canvas at this point. And in step four is some operations for setting the size and visibility of the window. Okay, so create a frame, create a canvas that you're going to put on the frame, then put the canvas onto the frame by using the add method, and then some windowing functionality here. So let me close this thing up here, and let's take a look at the magic canvas because this is where all the work is done. So I open this guy up here, go to the top. So the magic canvas actually extends what's called a JPanel. A JPanel is a window where you can place graphical type objects on. So I'm going to extend it, and then I'm going to override one of the methods from JPanel called paint component. So here's the inner workings of that. So this is actually a method from the previous class, JPanel. It actually comes from JComponent, but I'm going to call the superclass method to run all the functionality of the method in the superclass. Then I'm going to get the width and height of the window or of the JPanel. So I'm going to get the width and height. That's how I knew the width and height. Then I can change the color of the pen that I'm using, or the brush. I'm going to set the color to black. I could use yellow or red or orange. Then once I've done that, I'm going to print out the width and height. That's how I printed that out. And then I'm going to tell Van Gogh to draw a line. So it takes four integers here. 0, 0 corresponds to the upper left-hand corner. So 0, 0 is right there. And width and height are way down here. So this is the complete width and height. So this first line drew the line starting from 0, 0, let's say up here, all the way down to the diagonal down the bottom. And the second line was starting at 0 and height, which is right down here. So the graphics window actually counts positive downward. Okay, height. So it started right there, then the bottom left-hand corner, and went to, let's see, width, which is here, and 0. So it drew the line diagonally upwards. So as you saw, this paint component method was run every time I changed the size of the window. That's a property of the JPanel. So I close it again and run it. You can see how that all worked. So what happened here was a JFrame was created. Think of that as the wooden frame that on an easel. Then I created a canvas, the magic canvas I call it. That was the canvas that went over the frame. And then the paint component method, then I added the canvas to the frame, so it's on the frame or on the easel. Then the lines were drawn. So this one was drawn from 0, 0 down to width and height. And this is drawn from 0 width or 0 height all the way up to the top right corner. Okay. And again, if I move this thing around, you can see that it's constantly being redrawn, and I get the new width and height. So that's a real simple drawing program. So all this information about how these things are worked, if you go to my website here, you can look at the complete Java API. So this is where all of Java is, the standard Java that people have created add-ins. If I click on this, you'll see I get lots of different classes here. Lots of different classes that are built. And if I go down to J's, which as you can see there's a lot here. If I go to J, JFrame. Right here, you can take a look at the specifications for JFrame, how it works. In fact, there's a tutorial here on how to make JFrames if you want more details on that. Also, there's a JPanel, all the details of a JPanel. Again, another tutorial on how to make panels, and the graphics objects, that's the Van Gogh that I was using there. So if you go to the Java API from our website, or just Google Oracle.com and Java, you can find the API for all the classes that it offers. And so there's a lot more. There's JButton, JCheckbox, JChooser, JCombo. You would basically add these things to a frame to create a full graphical user interface. So that's the basics behind creating a graphics-based program with JFrames and JPanels.